quality trained security officers and virtual officers.
Welcome to the Titan Protection Show. Today we are talking cell phone recording. Specifically, I think what we've seen in the past couple years is, the folks that run up to police officers and security officers with a cell phone and they're recording. I think there's two types of this. One is the people that are intentionally out there doing it. They're going out with I want to go and find a security officer or a police officer. I want to start filming them and I'm hoping to get a reaction or do something. I think the other side of it, which is probably more important and relevant to security officers, is an incident starts happening and bystanders are recording with a
Sure.
cell phone. I think, and the mentality I think that we train on is, even if you're by yourself, assume you're being recorded.
Yes.
Whether it be
That's
cameras.
exactly how we say it.
Right.
Yes.
So I think that's not necessarily what I'm hoping to discuss here. I'm more so thinking about the folks that are, in your face and trying to get a reaction, or they're on the sideline doing it, because there is one answer to this equation in my mind. It's know what you're going to do or how you're going to react before that happens.
Yes. I think that the way best approach we can have is, sir, ma'am, whoever, of course you can record us. We encourage you to record us. I just need the room to work. And I don't want you to get hurt while I'm dealing with the subject. I don't want the subject to get hurt. I don't want myself to get hurt. And I think that's how, I mean, I don't think, no, that's how we teach it, is to the people who are recording us, let them record us.
100%.
Yeah. It's not, and the thing is even if you don't see somebody with a phone recording you, somebody's recording you. I mean, it's,
Right.
yeah, it may have missed your eye. Or,
Every time I see one of those videos go across YouTube, it is always when the officer or the person says, "Stop recording."
yeah,
And I think that the reason why that's the only thing that you see is because the ones where they go, and every once in a while there's a good one where the officer goes, "Hey, feel free, record all you want. It's your right. I understand you're recording that for your safety. I'm recording for my safety." That type of thing. They may put an example up because that's a good way to handle it. But I think the vast majority of times when they don't get the reaction of "Stop recording, you can't do that, you need to leave," the video gets deleted and it moves on. And that seems to be the one answer, is don't say stop, you can't
recording.
do it.
And I actually think, Ryan, I think you're going to see it culturally go away. And what I mean by that is hey, don't record here. The reason why is I think that is in our head from things we've seen during our lifetimes, to where somebody's embarrassed, somebody, whatever, that, they're leaving a courtroom, they're leaving a police station, and you see them, no questions and stuff like that. And I
Right.
think it's a response that we've hooked up in our head. And I think now people are much more comfortable with being recorded. I don't think it will ever fully go away. I think you will see less and less of an officer response saying, "Don't record me." Do we still need to work on it every day? Absolutely. We got to work on it every day and train on it properly and make sure that, yes, somebody can record us, but we're not allowing them into our area where we're working so they could get hurt or anything like that. But I think people are becoming more and more okay with being on camera.
And say for security officers and that's why I said you need to have the answer of how you'll react to it beforehand, because we've had that happen, that, the First Amendment audit people that come and they want to record the officers. They did one at Union Station, where I think the reason why they were there is they thought that is a public space.
Yes.
And it's confusing because it seems like it. They think train station and everything. That's a private entity.
It is a
That's
private
museum. But again, would we kick those? So knowing that we had the authority to kick them out, I mean, right? If you're not a customer of that business and they say, "Hey, you need to leave," you would have to leave essentially, or call the police or have something come. But do we really care? Like, if somebody's being respectful and they're just filming and going
Right.
about that, what would you advise that officer to do?
I would say let them keep filming.
Right.
And then if it's a private entity, like you said, we could ask simply, "Sir, you're welcome to keep filming me. Do you have any business here today?" And if the subject says, "No, I don't have any business here. My business is to record you," then I think that we're back to, we have a trespasser. And hey, sir, if you don't have business here at Union Station, or you're not here to, visit the property or use Amtrak or visit Science City or
So how is that different from the person that goes up to Union Station and they just want to walk around and see the holiday decorations and they're not like I guess that's what I'm asking. Is that a hill we want to die on? Because I would think because then they're going to start going, oh, you're kicking then, and that person that was doing that thought that they were in a pub, so they're not going to leave. They're not going to go, okay, I'm leaving.
I think if the person says, "I'm here to see the Christmas lights," I think then we back away. Hey, have a good visit. We have a good visit.
You're saying if
If
your
they're
only reason there is to film
and they've articulated it, and they've actually said the only reason here that I am here is antagonize you to do something silly on video, then I would probably go with what the post orders are of that facility. Would we allow, a loitering subject of that facility? We don't allow that. We don't allow somebody just to sit in Union Station and charge their cell phone. Or some properties and just charge their cell phone. Maybe we'll give them some grace for 10 or 15 minutes or something like that. But, if it's a property that
I see that's what I think it's the gnat. It's the fly that I mean, you can spend a lot of time and energy of trying to, and yeah, you can make it go away, but is it worth it? Because
no,
in that
no, 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 no,
scenario,
no.
what we would
I,
say is
yeah,
you need to leave, and if you're refusing to, we're going to call the cops. We're not. That's not a scenario where we're saying you're under arrest or we're going
no,
to physically
no,
remove you
no,
from
yeah.
the property.
If you're asking the level of our involvement, it would be extremely low. It would
Yeah.
be extremely. It's just not a priority for
And
us.
I think for me, I think the threshold is are they causing a disturbance for other people? Like if all they're
That's
doing is
exactly
being
right. So a union,
annoying,
yes. So a Union Station officer, a Union Station normally has an officer in a certain area called Grand Hall at all times. As long as that officer can maintain his, duties in Grand Hall, if the person wants to sit there and record, then I'm fine with it. But if that is disrupting my officer's duties and he's unable to, do things that he's required to do by our clients, that's when it's different. But even then, you're talking about an extremely low level response from us.
because I still go back to the if that same scenario, somebody comes up to the officer and just starts filming, I think the answer is hey, feel free to film. If it's not, if there's not I've seen some of those, where the people going into the courthouses and the different things, and their contention is you may be filming people's personal information.
Sure.
There's, people are filling forms out and doing different stuff, and there's a reason for that. I
Or a
think the
hospital. Yeah,
hospital.
yeah, yeah.
I think the disarming thing to do in it is to not react
Yeah.
in whatsoever, in anything to say,
I guess
feel free to film.
the scope I'm taking it from when you're asking me is there a disruption of business? If your answer is no, there's no disruption of business or daily flow, then no.
Right.
Yeah, leave it alone. Let them do what it is that they're wanting to do. It's just in my experience, some of the people who just have arrived someplace to video an officer, sometimes they can be very boisterous, they can be very loud, they can be creating a disturbance. You're in a different territory then. You're in a different territory that
And that would be no different than somebody running in, they're coming in there and then yelling and screaming and just, causing a disturbance in general.
yeah.
That's maybe a better point. The cell phone's pretty inconsequential.
Exactly right. Yeah, because here's the deal: there could be somebody just sitting on, a bench at Union Station recording you all day long. They never cause any problems. You never know about it, and they just sit there and record. We'll sit there and record.
Right.
Absolutely. This is somebody who's. I guess I'm putting in a different veil of somebody who's approaching an officer, staying in the officer space, staying that. Now, if the officer has an opportunity to break
Okay.
break
So
that
so so
contact,
so let me walk you through that one. That scenario, the person is not saying anything. They're not
okay,
doing anything.
okay,
They're keeping a distance,
okay,
say 10 feet from the officer,
okay.
but continually just following them around recording.
You think we gotta let it be?
I agree. Because at
Yeah.
some point, because if you turn to that and go, quit filming me, quit following me, you can't
Yeah.
do that. It's going to
You're
happen.
gonna be the one with the look of the asshole.
But
And
if
all
you
they need is
don't,
that second.
if you don't even acknowledge that, they're going to get bored with that
Yeah.
exercise in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, and the thing is all they need is the second of you saying, "Don't film me."
That's,
They can edit it.
I wanted to keep this one, short just to kind of open the discussion. And I think that's where we leave it is the answer is don't bite on that hook.
No, absolutely not. If there's a disruption of business, if there's a disruption of our posts that your client will want us to address, you would address it as any other low-level disruption of our post. And that's not physical engagement. That's not even too much verbal engagement or stuff like that. If a client wants us to ask, hey, what's this person's business here? We're fine to ask them that.
Sure.
And, that's us servicing the client. But no, if you want to sit there and record our guys from a safe distance to where he can still or she can still do their job, then that's part of our job.
The only way that pays off for the person filming is if the officer gets frustrated.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Yeah.
So in a wrap up, I think that's my 2 cents is don't let it frustrate you. Assume you're always being recorded and just don't bite on that hook. What I'd like to do as a follow-up to this is maybe look at some clips of that, what's gone good, what's gone bad, maybe even look at some of the clips that we've had of our officers that are involved in that. And I also think it'd be interesting to get a couple perspectives of the people that are doing that filming.
I think that's a fantastic idea.
We talked about that earlier, and there's kind of a consensus where there's people that are legitimately trying to audit things and maybe do it in a more professional and better manner. And then there's other people that are just strictly looking to stir a pot and get a reaction.
But those are the most dangerous ones.
Right.
Those are the most dangerous ones for our officer to make a bad decision.
They
Not that person
they
themselves
really
dangerous.
want you to put them in handcuffs
Yes.
because that is
It's a touchdown.
thing. They're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, gotcha, type of thing.
Here comes
So,
my check.
yes. So I wouldn't fall for it. I'd love to hear if anybody else has any thoughts or feedbacks or stories of times that they've had this happen to them. And I'd like to do a follow-up on it too and maybe dig through some clips where we've been involved or some of the other stuff that we've seen. But that's my 2 cents on it.
For our Titan guys, don't let it bug you. Stay away from it. Stay safe, and don't engage unless we absolutely have to.
You got it. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.